Hi folks, hope everyone's doing well. We will talk about spam today. Do you know how it might be generated? There are many ways of course, but today we will talk about the 3 most common methods. So let's start. Obviously, if you are making a website or mobile application, it will certainly help to protect your users and therefore your business. First, it's extremely important to understand how the attacker thinks, what tools are used and what are the capabilities of these tools. For that, I've contacted a person who has been analyzing the vulnerabilities of websites and mobile applications and making spam bots for many years. I've conducted a brief interview with him where I asked him to give a couple of examples of services with such vulnerabilities. In general, as he said, just sending letters to emails no longer works. If a spammer makes temporary mail and sends it to someone, there is a high probability that the email will not reach its addressee. As we know, mailboxes can now scan letters, and if the letter or the sender is suspicious, such a letter will simply be sent to the spam folder, and it will be the end of the story. User will never see it. To solve this problem, intermediate services are used, or the services we trust. They are called donor sites. The spammer forces the service to send harmful messages. Let's take a look at some examples. Github, a service where developers can share their code, users can create their own projects, warn and describe bugs, leave comments and suggestions about other projects. And where the most important thing in this case is interaction with people. The number of GitHub users is about 100 million. As an ordinary user, I can find an open source project, write a comment or a suggestion. The author of the project will see my message. I also can mention another person. This particular feature could be utilized to send spam. When we write a comment mentioning another person, that person receives a notification via email. Additionally, a push notification may also be sent to their phone. And since GitHub is a trusted service, messages don't end up in the spam folder. It is likely that the bot was created within a day and was able to send infected notification to over 1,000 users. Take a look at the users' reviews of this newsletter. As you can easily guess, they didn't like it. However, clicks on those infected links occurred. Even GitHub completely removed all the spam messages from its services. Okay, but what to do with those infected emails? Well, messages continue to hang in users' mailboxes, because like any other service, GitHub cannot delete messages that have already been sent. Please keep this in mind if you send email notification. Browser Automation Studio could be used to create the bot. The program is used for automation of routine processes. There are some additional modules that can be easily implemented and connected, either for free or a small fee. For example, there is a module that solves Google CAPTCHAs. It is using a neural network to solve challenges. The cost of such module is around $8 per month, and there is no limits on the number of solved CAPTCHAs. The cost of solving other CAPTCHAs like H CAPTCHA on average is $1 per 100 CAPTCHAs solved. There's a model that emulates the user fingerprint, screen resolution, video card model, sound card delay, the list of fonts on the device. This model is needed so that the verification system recognizes the bot as a real user. Before the attack on GitHub, data collection could be done. The hacker can create a list of active users. Later, it is these users that will be mentioned in the messages. The general algorithm of the bot was as following. The system creates a new account, then where there is an open issue and where you can leave a comment, several comments could be created, mentioning 40 people from the list. This is all. Because if you make more posts, GitHub will block the account. So, how do you secure the system? The simplest and easiest way is not to send any notifications from new user, though the whole essence of the attack will become meaningless. There is a regular online store, or marketplace to be exact. It has its vendors who play their gods. And there is obviously a function where you can write to the seller. There's a form through which you can send a letter. You just enter a text, specify your email address, check the send a copy to me box and send your message. Your letter will be obviously sent to the email address specified in the email field. Because we checked send a copy to me. A copy of the letter will come from the store's mailbox, which means that the email will not end up in the spam folder. This here is a perfect example of an intermediate service. We send the data to the service. The service sends data to the real user. All the spammer has to do is to paste the victim's email, and the server will duly send an infected email to the victim. This service has fixed the vulnerability. Now the server does not allow sending an email. Communication channel was changed to online store. As a buyer, you retain the ability to send a message to the vendor and access to exchange of messages. But all communication occurred within the system. Case number 3, YouTube. When a system becomes large and there are mechanisms for communication in it, then such a system becomes a goal for spammers in itself. For that, spammers usually use the internal messaging system. Let's take YouTube, the most desirable target of them all. The reason is obvious. The number of YouTube users is approximately 2 billion. Of course, you can leave comments on YouTube, which is visible to all users. My interlocutor has explained to me how YouTube protects itself against automatic submission of comments. A spam bot can work in 2 modes. First way, full user emulation. With this method, the program launches the browser, opens the URL, emulates mouse movement and keyboard presses. This method, of course, is very laborious and slow. The program launches the browser, waits the pages, pictures, CSS and JS files to load. It's too long. But the most important, it should take several thousand views to make just $1 from spam ads. The second way is much faster. It will send only necessary requests. It does not use browser. Requests are sent directly to the server without downloading a full web page. If we take this example of sending a message, the difference in speed can be tens or hundreds more. For example, the difference between 100 milliseconds and 10 seconds to send one message on a large number of requests turn into a difference of 1 day versus 100 days. As the creators of the service, we'd better make sure that the hacker cannot use the quick way. By doing that, we'll make them uninterested in attacking our system, because it will be easier for him to find someone else out there on net not as wise as we are. Making just $1 in a couple of days is not a very attractive goal. So, let's summarize what we've learned today. In the first case about GitHub, my interlocutor used the fast method. GitHub did not provide technical protection. the bot has been able to send messages to hundreds of thousands GitHub users just in a couple of hours. In the case of YouTube, everything isn't so easy. YouTube generates a special key for each comment request, and this key is generated in JavaScript files in the browser. Without this key, the comment is not created. Therefore, the quick way to send spam did not work. However, my interlocutor spends a week trying to crack YouTube's protection and generate the key. By trials and errors, he realized that the key can be created according to the following formula. So, why did he spend so much time trying to outsmash YouTube? Well, the answer is simple. Because at that time, only YouTube was the main way to earn money, and he needed to set up a quick way to send comments. If the service didn't have that much users, he probably wouldn't spend that much time cracking the algorithm. After all, as we already mentioned, it's much easier to find a service where there is no such protection. So, draw your own conclusion. Alright folks, hope you will find this information helpful and useful. And if so, don't forget to put the like and subscribe to the channel. Have a great and safe servicing.